Okay, guys, so we're going to start with the unconventional slide for my presentation. Um, so these 4 words are the most liberating words I ever heard in my entire life. And this changed the way I'm thinking about marketing. And this pivoted my career as well. You see, because there is a thing. Imagine this situation when you are very inexperienced and you've been approached by studio guys who are making the games for about 2-3 years, and they are having this mission to release this game, and they are giving you the important opportunity to carry on the torch. And you know, if there is something that is worse than being an inexperienced person, you need to add to the mix also that the person is kind of overly enthusiastic about the task, but also kind of overly, not ambitional, but let's call it delusional. And when you are giving this opportunity, you think, yes, I'm going to deliver. I have this opportunity to carry the game and to show these guys that I can do my work. Because obviously, the measure of success for these kind of guys is also the simple feat that, okay, Marta, so please put our game on the front page of IGN, and it's going to be just fine. And when you are this specific mix of being very enthusiastic, experienced, and you know all the drill, you think that, okay, you are not aware of this completely, but you think that, right, I'm giving the task, I know a bit, so I'm going to put a lot of work and effort, and you'll pull every single trick that you know out of your sleeve to make it happen. So what you do? Basically, you plan the campaign, right? You creating all the assets that you've heard that you need to prepare. You are making all those wonderful press releases that you're going to send to the press at the end of time. You are even aware of every single trick, and if there is a time, that golden spot in the timeline that you need to post your content, or if there is a fixed amount of hashtags, like the golden rule, that you need to add to your posts, you know it and you follow it to the T. And of course, there's also a rule that if you want something very, very bad, and you work very, very hard, it's going to work out, right? No, not really. But I didn't know that at the time. So the situation is this, that you did all that, you crunch, you post everything, and the magic day comes, it's the launch, and you hope that everything that you've done so far is going to pay off. But then, nothing happens. And you, being someone who just being crushed under this really bad feeling of fail, you think, okay, there has to be a reason why this happened, why this all work didn't pay it off. And you get to think, right, okay, so I did everything to the T. I followed every single rule that I've read on the internet. I know everything. So what could have happened? Okay, I got it, yeah. So probably when you were so busy with a pre-launch campaign and delivering everything, all this feverish stuff, you probably didn't see something that the algorithm put somewhere under the sheets, right? And then it just hits you. Okay, no, wait. You've been shadow banned. That has to be it. There is no other explanation. You are shadow banned, of course. You didn't ask for any kind of budget for your campaign, so it has to be it. So you have to learn from your mistakes. And you know that for the next campaign, you're going to ask for this sweet little budget that you're going to spend on the ads. So you are not going to bury under every single thing that's going to be shown on social media. So you're asking for 10 grand. And the cycle repeats. You're preparing everything. You are making all these assets. You're making all these trailers. You're releasing the press releases, all that jazz, all that you know. But on top of it, you're adding the sweet little campaign of the ads. And again, the launch comes, same outcome. Bummer. But this time, you think, okay, so the reason was it wasn't enough money. It has to be it. And now I need to ask for 3 times more, and it's going to be it. And I'm going to add even more to it. I'm going to even bring some content creators to this world, and it has to pay off. And you know, I'm not going to bore you with the cycle repeating itself over and over again. And when the cycle repeated, well, after some rounds of failure, you need to start wondering, like, what's going on? Like, seriously, because you know for a fact, because you have working pair of 2 eyes, that there are games within the same scope as the game that you're promoting that are doing just fine, right? And they are also having to fight against all the odds that you're fighting. So it's not the algorithm, right? And you know for a fact that these titles do not have thousands of dollars to spend on ads, on content creators, anything. And then it just hits you. It's your content, right? Your content just sucks. Like, it has to be it. And that's why it was the most liberating thing for me to realize back then. Because just think about it. If it's your content, you have control over it. You have to do something. You can do something to improve it. Imagine the alternative. When you are the small dev against like the whole big corporations who are carrying all these rules of algorithm, you don't stand a chance against these guys. But if it's the content that you can improve, there is something I can do. And the same goes about budget. Of course, money helps. That's for sure. But we know for a fact, and I'm not going to throw shade on these guys, that there are some examples of like very expensive games which did not perform very well. And this is something that I find as someone who helps indie game developers very relieving. Because like, if this is not a race against, the money or the algorithm, you have a chance. So I was all this time completely missing the point because I was chasing these algorithms while I realized then that there is something more to it. But I think that I owe you also a disclaimer because I don't want you to leave this talk with this assumption that not knowing how the algorithm works is bad. Because there are some algorithms that you need to understand because they're going to be like your bread and butter when it comes to your campaign. For example, what's happening during Steam Next Fest is going to define your revenue, basically. But the thing is that with Steam Next Fest and how it's built, the thing is that when you are featured on the main page of the event, this is the place when you get the most wishlist from. But here is a deal. To be featured during the Steam Next Fest main page, you have to have a lot of wishlists in the first place. And this is why I'm speaking to you today, because I think and I hope that what I've learned so far from like my path of failures and my journey into realization of what is it all about, you'll be able to change your current state, and you're going to be able to save a lot of time, which I spent on realizing all these things. So I knew that something is wrong, basically, and I also knew that while I was working with smaller studios, I don't have the amount of budget I need to, convey all the research. I don't have this kind of support, So I needed to find a solution on my own. And probably some of you are in the same place, and this is going to be useful for you. So I thought that I need to start with my own research. So, and this research starts with defining who your competitors are. And this is going to be a lightning round through the process of how to know who your competitors are. And I'm going to share with you two tools that are very easy to use. So first one is called Steam Peek. And this is a free tool. It's very useful. I think it's better than just looking for similar games through Steam. It's much more faster. So you can use this QR code to look for this page. Anyways, this is how this website looks like. Very easy. You just push into the search bar the name of the game. Probably you know like your main competitor in the field, so you can use this. But you also can use some tags to include or ones to exclude to just make your search more coherent. The other one is game stats. This one has a free option, but I think that is it unlocks its potential when you are using a paid option, basically. And like using it is very similar. You are putting tags in here, but you also can look for a specific amount of followers, or a specific release date that interests you. What's also cool about this tool is that on the right side of the screen you can see like the estimated revenue that this game generates. There are also other tools, but I'm not going to cover this today. But here you can have like an idea what success means in case of your competitors, right? So we are using these tools to create a sweet list of your competitors. And basically what I wanted to talk you about is that I would like to present you 3 levels that can get us to reach our goal, which is improving our game marketing campaigns. So we have our sweet list of game competitors. And what we are doing, we are taking like first title. For example, we are taking Stone Shard, because why not? Cool game. And why we are looking at Stone Shard? Because I want you to take everything about each competitor, and I mean everything. You need to take a note about short description, about tags that each game uses. I want you even to take the screenshots, because like, it's very useful. I often get devs asking, okay, that question's like, so should I show UI in my screenshots or not? Because I don't know. And by compiling all this data, by noting all this down, you basically can see what's like the environment here. But my personal view, if you can like put UI, please do, because it tells people like what kind of games you can show them, and it also tells a lot about all these mechanics that are really cool for people. And of course, trailers. With trailers, I want you to analyze what kind of pacing the trailers have, what kind of are there any title cards? Are there voiceovers? Like what are the features showcased in the trailer? Like everything, following to the T. And we are doing that because this level will help us to point the keywords for exactly. We are learning what other successful games are putting into their Steam descriptions and their all copy, because maybe you are missing something. Maybe you are not communicating well enough things that are really cool in your game. And this exercise can put your mind into the great position when you see if you are missing something, maybe something is not clear enough. So I want you to do that. I marked some keywords that I thought that are cool by myself. Okay. I also need to tell you that I'm going even deeper with my research of competitors. I'm using GamesPress website, and I'm taking all the press releases that they've sent. It also lets me know what kind of communication they send to press or content creators. And also going through the Twitter, X, you know, the thing. And I'm looking what kind of content they are putting there. Are there any hashtags they're using that could be useful, like everything? I think, personally, that knowing what your competitor is doing is going to help you, because you will gain the confidence in what you're having. You will know how the environment is looking. And this, basically, is like the level 1. It's taking inspiration from your competitors. Thanks to this, you can compare. You know what's happening. And moving forward to level 2, this is when more grinding comes. I'm sorry, it's not going to be easier from now. It's taking all these reviews and comments that players share about the games. We want to know what the players declare about the game, if there are some specific things that they enjoy in the game. Because this can give you a perspective of, okay, maybe they have, or maybe they don't have something that we have in our game, but players are telling that they would like to see it. Or maybe there is something of annoyance for the players, and they maybe can find something better in our comm strategy. By the way, it also helps, because I've seen that as well, that developers often have the problem to define what to post. Like, okay, what should I need to talk about? Like, I don't know what to show in my Twitter. Like, come on. And this can give you some guidelines onto what could be interesting to showcase. You have this right here on the silver platter. And this is level 2, the player's feedback. And I need to tell you one thing, because when I went through level 1 and level 2, I realized something. And I realized that it was, of course, I wasn't good at my work at the first place. I missed some marks. But it also was very apparent to me that the games also had some problems. Because you see, it was very easy to spot that when a studio comes to you and they ask you to market a game after 2 or 3 years of development, and they are just messaging you like at the last stage of the race, it could be potentially an indicator of them not having marketing implemented at the very beginning of the development process, which ends with sometimes problems like that people don't want to cover your game. And I strongly believe that you should like pair marketing and production at the very beginning, because this also gives you something that marketers usually call this a USP, a unique selling point. And I hate this term, USP. I hate this term because I think that people, and I am also to blame on this, that they are not getting the unique part of unique selling point, because like they think that you just need to throw something that has never been seen before, and people will just jump on the wagon. And it's not working that way. Like, imagine this conversation, that someone approaches you and they're going with, okay, so I have a game. Are you handling it? Like, this is Vampire Survivors. You get it? But character are blue. You get it? Amazing. And you should be like, okay, what? They're blue. No one has it. Like, you see that this is not, that this is unique, but who cares about blue characters in another Vampire Survivors clone, right? So that's why I'm not calling it I don't like to call it USP, unique selling point. I prefer to call it a reason to give a damn, because this is what you need people to give. They need to have something in your game that sounds like actually meaningful. And this is the reason people take on the games. And so that's one thing, that we need to know how to implement the reason to give a damn, basically. But also, it was apparent to me that there's also a different thing that was problematic. It's a value misalignment that we usually have. You see, we think that something is important, and we don't take perspective of our players into the mix. Like, there is some kind of miscommunication here. And you can spot it like on various occasions. For example, this is a short description of a game, and I marked the lore dump here. Like, at this point, you don't care about how the tower is called. Like, you only have 300 characters in this short description, so why waste it with something that's not of importance to your players, right? But I need also to tell you that there is something that we all suffer from, and there is no cure, unfortunately. And this boils from this value misalignment thing. So there is a curse of knowledge, and curse of knowledge is something that I don't think that anyone has a solution to, but this is basically a thing that sometimes, not sometimes, like always, when we are like talking to someone, we have this level of understanding of a topic, right? And we expect that the person we are talking to is on the same level of understanding, while in fact, they are somewhere in between here. And our brain tends to forget about this basic stuff. But I think that I'm going to share with you what I'm doing to deal with this thing, because like it's often crushes the communication. So I'm doing this that is the power of forgetting that I mentioned in my in the description of my speech. So I'm usually trying to forget that I'm me, and I'm constantly asking questions like I don't know a thing about the game I'm promoting. So basically it's like when I'm looking at the content that I'm preparing, like, you know, Steam capsules, other promotional images, screenshots, even short description, I'm questioning myself. It's like, okay, if I'm someone else, would I understand from the very beginning what I'm even about to talk? Like, what the hell is going on, right? Is it clear enough? Is the genre like clear for me from the beginning? And yes, it's probably like a self-sabotaging my own work, but it helps me to put myself into perspective. But I also have a tip for you. It could be a really nice exercise because I'm also watching, you know, all these game shows that are airing. Normal people are watching them like by themselves, and I'm watching people reacting to game shows. So this lets me to understand how content creators are reacting to the trailers they are seeing for the first time, which is very helpful for me. And also looking at the chat reactions can let me understand if the visuals are clear enough, if people understand the genre, and if everything is going on. Like, this is my tool. I never expected that I'm going to use Twitch as a tool that I'm going to share with other professionals. Anyway, this sums up, we summed up level 2 and level 1, but there is also level 3, and this is like the core that I would like to get into. So, you know, during the campaign, we want people to do a lot of things, right? We want them to to click on our Steam icon or our other shop icon. We want them to read through our store page. We want them to wishlist the game. We want them to play the demo. We want them to buy the game. We want them to play the game. But there is a thing. We want them to do a lot of stuff. But I got a question. How do we make people do all those things? So there is an answer to that. And basically, motivation drives behavior. And to understand motivation, we are going to go through a bit of a basics. So we know that there are two types of motivation. So there is extrinsic motivation, and it's basically, when you are doing something because you are expecting to get a reward, or you want to just avoid punishment. Like, while getting a reward is quite self-explanatory, avoiding punishment would be something like when your mom just goes and eat your veggies, John. If you won't eat your broccoli, you won't be able to play PlayStation. This kind of thing. But we are not going to talk about extrinsic motivation. We need to go deeper. So we're going to talk about this one. Intrinsic motivation is a motivation that drives us to do something for the sake of doing something, because it gives us pleasure. And at the base of intrinsic motivation, we have something that's called self-determination theory. And this theory has 3 pillars. It's basically to understand how games are improving our psychological needs for autonomy. And this means that we want feel in control, right? We want to have this idea that we are making meaningful choices. And we want to self-express. There is also a competence. So it just feels good when we are getting good at something, right? And I think that we should learn from all these game designers and people who are working on, adding different quests and tasks. Because with competence, there is a thing. To kick in, the task at hand cannot be easy. It needs to be a bit of challenging, but not too challenging, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that all these progress bars that are in the games are for some reason, so very interesting. And the third pillar is relatedness. It's basically that we, even the most, we need to feel the sense that we belong somewhere, that we are have the chance to connect with other people. Yes, and probably you think like, okay, Marta, cool, really nice, yeah? But how am I supposed to know how to get this from, right? How am I going to do that? So, as in the previous example, well, I am experimenting on myself. So, what I'm doing is that I'm recording myself playing the games that I consider a competition to my games. And I honestly hope that the playthrough will never see the light of the day. But it's you need to be very self-aware to make it work, because it has to, you need to be self-aware because you need to comment on every single thing that you experience doing a playthrough. So when a specific mechanic does something that makes you feel good, that answers to psychological need for autonomy, competence, or belonging, you need to note it down. And I found that recording myself and just talking to the camera while I'm playing is easier and faster than just, taking out my note while I'm playing Helldivers 2, because it could be fatal to my teammates. So we are not do that. But as I mentioned, this needs a exceptional level of self-awareness, but there is an easy way also, and there is also a Twitch. Because I need to tell you this, I never realized that I will get why people are watching Twitch. For years I thought that why am I even want to watch people playing games while I could do the same thing. Now I get it, I know it's entertaining, but it came to me when I used Twitch as a tool. Like we have today, thankfully, an access to live recording of people we have access to people playing the game and to engage with them. You can see all those facial expressions that are on the people's faces when they're having encounters in the game. And this is so very useful for me because I can then kind of understand what kind of thing makes them feel that way. And I couldn't have this 20 years ago, it wouldn't work. Okay, but I'm not going to leave you with all this theory. I also would like to show you the examples of what can you map on your own matrix. So the autonomy is, for example, when you're doing your research, you see that, okay, so people are feeling good about themselves when they can choose a dialogue option that leads to a different outcome. And maybe your game has something buried down in itself that you can show in a piece of a content, right? For the competence, it could be something like discovery of a new powerful synergies. Like you see that you manage to see that some gun, like paired with other skill or a perk, makes you feel powerful and you feel good about yourselves. And for relatedness, you can share anecdotal stories in the community. And that could make you feel that you are a part of a community itself. But if that's an overkill for you, and I understand that completely, because I think it's apparent that I'm showing you through all this that I have too much of a spare time because I actually enjoy doing all this. But there is also Quantic Foundry motivational model, and here you can download a PDF with a very thorough explanation of how the model works. And this basically is like a matrix of different genres divided by certain motivations. It's very useful because it can speed up you to the process. I'm actually using the self-determination theory matrix and this one because it helps me to put my mind in the perfect place to understand why people are enjoying specific elements. But I want you to take this matrix and think about 2 to 3 max elements to define the perfect motivations. I don't want you to take everything for a reason because I know that on a certain paths of campaign, you can hit the others, but 2 to 3 is the max because there is something that you also need to understand, that the market works in a very specific way. So here you can find a technology adoption cycle, and I don't remember who did that, and I think that this knowledge only can help you during a Tinder date or something. But you need to understand that while everyone would like to cover the mainstream market, this is not something that you need to target at the very beginning or even like at the pre-launch of your campaign. You need to target this 15% at the beginning of this graph. But I think I need to tell you who are these people. So I wanted to look for analogies that we can all understand. So to understand who the early majority and the late majority are, So basically, these are the guys who are looking for the games on the Steam sales. I would say that in normal situation, pragmatists are the guys who are waiting for between minus 30% to maybe minus 50, while the conservatives are the guys who are looking for from minus 75 to minus 90. The skeptics. I was looking to find the perfect example, so I found this. But basically, to find even better analogy, I think that you can think of people who, when you are buying GTA 5 for PS5, they're buying GTA 5 for PS3. So these are the guys. But yeah, I want you to focus on these two guys. Because these are the people who tend to catch on the ideas. They are here to discover new things. They are there when you are releasing a beta. They care about the stuff that you're doing because they are doing for a reason. And you need to take care about them in the first place because these guys are going to carry over the idea about your game to the other guys. And especially, it's very important, because you need to also take this into account, that in this group, there are also people that you need to have a relationship with, right? So it's not only about the players, but there are also media people, content creators, and probably other business partners you can have. So you need to nail the communication, boil it down to all those motivations that you discovered during the level 3, that you can, feed them with, basically. And it's going to be also something related to this, because we need to understand what is the psychology of sharing stuff. It's not that you're going to just send them the press release with, this is my exceptional game, please buy it, or please write something about it. It's not working that way. We need to understand why are we sharing and who are we sharing for. So you probably think that sharing something on social media or sharing something with your friend is because you think that, oh, this guy can probably use this. Well, it's partially true, yes, but we mainly are sharing stuff for ourselves because we feel good about ourselves when we are sharing interesting stuff. It builds our ego. It helps us to build our persona. People think that we are cool if we are sharing with them something useful. So we need to constantly remember all that. And also what's very important is that when we are reaching towards this key people, like content creators, like media persons, they also have goals that they need to reach, and we need to understand what these goals are. We are not sharing with them the content just for the sake of sharing content. We need to understand that they have the audience. They need to deliver this content, and it needs to be interesting enough for them to, reach their goals, right? And this is going to be also a very speed round of sharing stuff. So to understand how the sharing looks like, we need to have the hook. We need to hook them in. And what we have right now, what we learned right now during this talk is that thanks to level 1, we know what are the elements of the campaigns of our competitors. And this helps us to understand what they did, but it also leads us to know if there are some patterns we can disrupt, right? If there are some things that can differentiate ourselves among all these guys. Because, we are scrolling social media constantly, right? And the funny thing is that when we are consuming social media, we scroll and we don't give a second chance things that are not hooking us in. While when we are releasing something and when we post something, we expect everyone to stop by and just to look at it. Like, it's a paradox, but I think that's happened to all of us. So very important. We need to hook them in. Then we need to hold the attention for long enough to do something. But with holding the attention, you probably saw during my presentation that I used somewhere some question marks. They are here for a reason, because like our brain also likes to know what's happened next. We can use something called informational gap here. And there are many tricks that you can use to make people like, keep up with your content. And if you would like to talk about them after this speak, I can share with you everything I know. Don't worry, because this leads us also to the action. Basically, we want people to do something at the end, right? Every single trailer, every single video trailer should end with the call to action. Either if it's a wish listing the game, buying the game, we need people to do something with the stuff that we created. And all these three levels, like all this thing and all this talk boils down to the thing that I would like you to change the perspective. Like the recipe for irresistible game marketing campaigns is this, that I would like you to change the perspective from thinking about your game and the product into having a player into center of your communication. I would like you to always question if a player will get what you want to tell them. And my name is Marta Matyjewicz, and I'm a game marketing consultant, freelancer, and I'm also a game marketing manager at Playstack. And I would like to ask you to leave with this, after this speech, with this challenge, to constantly question yourselves, to ask the question whether the players will understand what we are telling them, whether they will do something, and what will they want. Thank you very much.
Because Marta was on time, then we have some time for questions. So please join us on stage if you have any.
Or you can meet me in the parking lot, whatever.
No questions. So thank you very much. Please. Oh,
There's a question. Hey.
Will you just please use mic.
Thank you. I have a really simple question, I think. You mentioned that the marketing should start at the production level.
Yes.
Or at the production stage. So what exactly you mean by that? Because I feel that every developer releases the same stuff, okay? So now we are building, now we are testing, okay? Here's how our computer screens look like. And after a while, it gets quite boring. So do you have any tips how to make that interesting, or how to hook on that stage, how to make it unique, and any tips?
You're asking about how to make unique research stage?
No. What stuff would you post on that production level? Not after the game released, but during the production. How would you start the marketing process?
Okay, so I'm going to start with one thing, because you asked me if I'm telling that you should start marketing during production state. So it's even worse than that. So I think that you should have started your marketing like when someone just wakes up with an idea of having a game before the production starts. Right. And by marketing, I'm also considering marketing, all this research thing. So when you are thinking about making a game in a specific genre, you have an idea of what you want to do, then this kicks in, right? And you are looking through the competitors, you see what they are doing, and this helps you to define your reason to give a damn. So I'm considering that marketing as well. But coming back to your question, right? So you're asking about how to make content interesting during production state? Well, it depends on the game, I think that what I showed you today can give you quite few ideas of what could be interesting to the players. But without knowing what kind of game are you making, it would be hard for me to explain this to you right now. I think that we can, have a chat after, and we can think about some kind of ideas. But I'm sure that there are plenty of inspirations that you can have going through all this. And also, like, seeing what people have done, you can see what else you can do differently and experiment.
So back to research, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Asha? But you know everything.
Yes.
Thanks again for a really good presentation. Again, I'm a fan of all of yours, and I'm thinking, where would you fit events? Because that's something that a lot of indie devs struggle, so would really love to hear your thoughts, like about online events versus offline events, and where would you fit them in the recipe and kind of trying to see what the competition is doing?
I'm digging through that all as well. Yeah, but where I would put events in the timeline of marketing, it depends. But also, what's also interesting about this model is that it gives you a lot of answers that people are struggling with. So often indie devs do not have any idea when they should start announcing the game, when they should do any of these beats. But when you are going through all this, like, it all aligns. You can see that this specific game announced like 6 months prior to the launch, right? And you can see what kind of events they did. And you can make educational decision whether you want to do that as well or not. But I think that I need to be fair. I would put online events on pedestal. I don't think that offline events are good for doing all this. Of course, you are welcome to get feedback from the players, and you also have a chance to, get all these media contacts, all these partnerships, stuff like this. But I would focus on online events mostly. Thank you.
Any questions? 1 minute left. If not, thank you, Marta.
Thank you very much.
Please give Marta a round of applause.